Hey heroes, welcome in. We are your hosts for hire. I am Kyle Cage. This is Lucas Rand. Today we wanted to get into the biggest question and the biggest debate on any comic nerd's mind is Marvel versus DC. So we're going to get into a couple different
Yeah.
aspects of it and kind of compare and contrast. Let us
I
know
mean,
in the comments what you guys think would be your favorites and why we're wrong or why we're right. Also,
yes.
give us a follow at Hosts4Hire podcast. That's Hosts4Hire with the number four. All right, so right away, let's start with live action movies and TV shows. Let's see. So
So between Marvel and DC live action,
it's
we did
Marvel.
that. We chose to do that first because there's just no
It's
competition.
just, I mean, like if you guys think that the DCEU is better than the MCU, or that even including the
I need to know
legacy
why.
movies of Batman, Batman Returns, and Batman Forever, and like the old Superman movies, how
Counting every all the
counting
Dark Knights,
everything,
Dark Knight
yeah, like
Returns, all the Christopher Nolans, it does not matter.
it
Like
still doesn't hold a candle.
if you think it's DC, please get in our comments and tell us why. But
Yeah.
uh,
I mean,
there's
I
just
will
no
get
light.
chills 1,000% of the time I see Cap wielding Mjolnir. I will get, there's certain MCU moments and especially theater moments that are just they were magnetic,
Yeah.
and that might be making us a little biased, but I don't know.
No, I just mean
Personally,
even in
it's
just movie quality, there's just no way
yeah,
that you can
yeah.
compare the two. There's
No,
just
it's handedly the MCU and Marvel. So,
yeah.
getting that one out of the way, we're gonna say Marvel takes that aspect of the industry. One that's another one that's a little easier to get through is video games. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and say Marvel takes that as well, especially
Agreed.
with Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 coming out.
Well, yeah. So I was gonna say, the thing is that DC hasn't put out a good game in nearly a decade,
Yeah,
and that's unfortunate. But not only in the console range, they haven't put out a very good console game or a very good mobile game. They haven't MCOC, Marvel Contest of Champions, is better than every version of every DC game that there is. And every version of every DC game that there is, there's an equal Marvel counterpart. It's just because there's
yeah,
every fantasy content has a version of that game,
yeah.
like Strike Force or
Well, and
et
that's the
cetera, et cetera.
crazy thing is when we talk about this, we kind of have to include mobile games because of how little there is for DC that are
Yeah,
outside of like
and they made
movie
Suicide
adaptation.
Squad, and I'm not including that because you don't. That's
It's trash.
you don't
So
speak of that.
really, if you think about it, all they really got as far as video games go
Arkham
is
series.
the Arkham series. Like there are like I said,
Injustice
there
is
are
cool
some
and
games from
good
the
as well.
yeah. Yeah, I was about to say there are some games from like the 90s, like the honestly Batman Returns, I believe, or Batman Forever for the Genesis. I remember playing that as a kid and loving it. Probably a terrible side scroller, terrible game though, you know what I mean? So like there's nostalgia there. But the reality is like when you think about these things, like it's
Spider-Man
a
2 just alone is better
yeah,
than everything that even Marvel has done beforehand
yeah. Because I
and
mean,
DC
Marvel
has
had
done.
some great ones with the older Spider-Man games, with the Ultimate Alliance games, the X-Men games,
And I
like
love the Batman games. Don't get it twisted. There
mhm,
just hasn't been a new one that we can compare against the new Marvel games coming out.
yeah, not even close.
If there was, if Suicide Squad was not a negative 10 out of 10, um,
There
we
might be a
could
little bit more.
have something, but we just
Well,
don't yet.
and,
So
like,
maybe when they put some more stuff out, they'll
it's
take the video game
it's also a
range back
sheer
up.
volume thing, like, they
Mhm.
have just so much more out. Like, even and variety, like Midnight Suns, you can go play a strategy game, you can go
Yep.
play an RPG,
There's
you can
that
go
two
play
bit Cosmic Invasion coming out.
Mhm. Yep, that one we did
There's
an
the
episode
mobile
on.
games.
Go check that one out. Yeah, we made an episode about that. Uh, but going along with that too, like on the flip side, as far as like animation goes, like DC just outweighs Marvel in
I was gonna say
sheer
that's next, right?
numbers.
So anime. So
Yeah,
if live action and video games goes Marvel,
handedly to Marvel,
animation, films, and
handedly.
TV shows goes to DC. I don't know if it's handedly anymore, just because
Maybe
very
because of the
recently we've
yeah,
gotten X-Men '97, we've gotten the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We're
Eyes of
gonna get
Wakanda's coming.
Eyes of
Like
Wakanda.
yeah,
What if was good in the beginning and then petered out, but still like and into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yeah, right,
That's
right,
the big
yeah,
banger
yeah.
for Marvel. But I still don't think it is good as the DCAMU, Tomorrowverse, the Justice League Unlimited, Batman, the plethora of Batman animated things
Yeah,
that there were.
Beyond and,
Static
like
Shock.
oh, the
Uh,
Silver Surfer, like, yeah,
yeah,
like
that was Marvel, but ooh,
oh, yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good one.
but that's, like that one also, like there I don't know, there's a few from both of them that really make the
If we're
'90s.
So animation is just DC, but if we're going '90s specific, because then we're going like Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Spider Man
Yeah,
versus like Justice League, Unlimited, Batman, like Brave and the Bold.
it gets a little bit it gets a little bit closer for me, you know what I mean? That's what I
I'd
mean,
still give it
like
to DC for me.
yeah, yeah, I
So
think so too. I think so. And then you bring in the DCAMU Tomorrowverse and that
yeah,
whole
and then it's just like a
mind-bending,
yeah, it's just a
mind-exploding
tsunami.
20-something.
Young
Yeah.
Justice as well.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
currently going through that. It's so good. It's
Yep.
so
That's
good.
one I've never watched all of, actually. I want to
You
finish that. Yeah.
need to.
I know I need to.
Alright, so then that brings us to where it really gets tough,
Yeah.
and that's the comics. So,
Mhm.
up until this point, you guys please let us know where you're at. We're at 2-1 Marvel.
Yep.
So let us know where you're at in the comments. But for comics, it gets hard because Marvel has like my favorite comic runs.
Yeah.
But currently, right now, the Absolute Universe
It's
is got
starting
me
to
in such a
yeah.
way that I can't. Like I the
Well, let's put it this way, like so for like Marvel runs, let's just like name it like King in Black
King
is
in
one of the
Black,
best is one of the best is
Absolute
one of the best
Carnage,
comic book runs ever.
King
Absolute
in Black,
Carnage. Yep.
uh,
Uh
the Venomized. For
mhm.
me, this is all gonna sound so extremely biased because like it's like Poison X, Venomized, like
Venom.
King in Black, Absolute Carnage. I just love that so much.
Venom is great. Like and all of the
Um,
symbiotes and um
but again, this is just our opinions, right? So like
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
in this case, we want to hear what are your favorite comic runs from
Yeah.
Marvel and DC, and if we haven't read them, we want to read them, and if we like oh yeah, like th- that's a good one, like maybe we can rehash this comic portion out.
Yeah.
But
See,
like,
this is, but then when I think about DC as well, like personally, I really like the Dark Knight's Metal. It's
yes,
also one of the best comic lines I
yes,
think I've ever written.
Dark
Um,
Knights
I
of Steel.
I really love Dark Knights of Steel.
I knew
I
you were gonna
also,
say that when I wanted to
yep,
steal your thunder.
yep. I also really like from DC the uh deceased.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
like
yeah,
the which is kind of like Marvel
yes,
Zombies, but like better. I
yes.
don't know.
Yeah, but then like like and that just reminded me for Marvel like in that like not that it's silly but in that more like crazy tone like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
Love
that's a
love
good
it.
one. Because the
Um
multiple, the sequel of that as well.
Another
Uh
great one for me for Marvel is the Old Man Logan
oh
uh series. But then like there one of my favorite comics is it's a Teen Titans comic. Um the name is eluding me right now. It's where Wally evaporates. But there's just so many. And then now I'm thinking like Marvel is like the new Ultimate Universe is also like really really cool.
yeah. See, like for me too, like it's tough because I almost want to distinguish between like you could even distinguish between like which one has better characters and which one has better stories. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, because personally, I think maybe Marvel has better like overall storylines, whereas like DC might have better characters. That
It's
so
so
it
hard.
makes the stories
It's
more
hard for me
interesting.
because like I almost feel I don't know feel a little on the flip of that. Where like
Where
to me
DC has
DC
better
has better
stories and Marvel has
stories.
better like characters.
Well, like because just like Spider-Man is what specifically makes me feel that way.
Hmm. That's a good point. Damn.
where he's like the character that I like. If I'm thinking Marvel, I'm gripping onto Spider-Man. But like with DC, I like the world. I like the grittiness. I like the um,
You've convinced me. You changed my mind.
you know,
You genuinely like you flipped me right there because you're absolutely right. Like the characters are much more vibrant in Marvel, whereas
yes,
like which makes them
yes,
more interesting. Whereas
yes.
and like they're more multi-layered. Whereas the characters in DC are you get Superman, Batman, just kind of like your basic archetypes of
But
like
it
but
delves
but the
deep
but the
into
wo-
their.
yeah but the
Mhm.
world that they're in is so much more interesting. I don't know. That's a great way to put
So
that. What
in
do you
that
guys
vein,
think?
though, in
Yeah.
that vein, I'm gonna say DC because that's just like what gets me now more as an adult. And
Hmm.
I'm realizing that with this Absolute series and going through it is
When I
that
was
like
a kid and I had more hope, I loved Marvel. Now that I realize how dark and disturbing the world is, DC.
but like actually
I
uh
mean,
but just like also like the taking the different take on the like classic thing that we all already know, that's
mhm.
just got me like like in such a like grip like that, like I'm just having such a thrill going through these storylines that I gotta say that it for me right now
Yeah.
goes DC.
Especially the Absolute Universe. We made
Yeah.
a couple episodes about it. I highly recommend you read it and then check those out.
Yes, please.
There's a bunch of issues of a couple of them, and then there's a bunch out right now. Catch up. It is worth the read.
So worth it.
We are chomping at the bits for more. I can't every week Wednesday we just wait and wait and wait, but
But all right, so what we wanted to do is a little bit of a fun fifth tiebreaker, right? Because right now we have Marvel 2, DC 2.
yep.
So as the tiebreaker, we wanted to do a death battle. And since we are the hosts for hire after our heroes for hire counterparts, we wanted to pit together Iron Fist and Luke Cage versus not necessarily their DC counterparts, but some that we thought would be intense yet fair yet cool fight in Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Yeah, so
So
so it's like a tag team, like a tag
yes,
team match.
tag team deathmatch. So I'm gonna roll this 12-sided dice for a terrain that we're gonna
Yeah,
have this battle in because I feel like that's gonna matter a lot. So Kyle and I have
yeah.
gone through a list of 12 terrains, and I'm going to roll this dice, and we are going to see which one it's going to be, and it is Metropolis.
Interesting.
All right,
So urban environment.
that doesn't necessarily feel like it gives an advantage to either because Luke
No.
Cage and Iron Fist are in New York. That's a
Yeah.
very Metropolis like. Uh,
Yeah. Well, the main thing is that like if it was like somewhere out in the open or somewhere like for instance the Savage Land would have changed some things because Hawkman
yeah,
and Hawker would have had a massive
a big
advantage.
advantage. Yes.
But in this case, I think it kind of is an even playing field.
Yeah,
Although even like maybe Luke Cage and Iron Fist would get a little bit of a bonus because like Hawkman and Hawkgirl have to watch out for the buildings so that they can't just
that's
fly
true. But
fly
then
in the
I
open
guess like
air.
it's like New York, but it isn't New York, so they don't know the streets like the back of their hand, like they
No,
would
yeah, but
if it
but
was New York.
the buildings and traffic and people would still be an
Yeah,
obstacle to
yeah,
the Hawks compared
yeah.
to
All right, so that's interesting.
open
Okay,
environment. All
so you
right.
guys tell us right off the bat who you think would win this and why. And Kyle, let's try to figure out who would win and why here.
My instinct says Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Just right off the bat, that's my instinct because the
So here, let's do
Thanagarian.
this. Do you want to take the side of Hawkman and Hawkgirl or Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and we'll try to argue our positions.
I mean, it's up to you. How do you feel like you could defend Iron Fist and
I'll
Luke
take the
Cage fairly
Hawks. I'll
well?
take the Hawks. You
Okay.
do Iron Fist
All
and Luke
right.
Cage.
All right. Word.
All right. So
So
a
go
reason I
ahead.
think that the Hawks could win is just sheer strength,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's fair. Yep.
Not only can Hawkman, I wouldn't say that he can go toe to toe with Superman, but like he can definitely hit him and make him feel it. And then
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, in my opinion at least, my vision has always been that he's the weaker of the two. Hawk Girl is that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think like in the strength and ferocity category, in a death battle, they have the upper hand. Not only that,
Interesting.
but because they're military generals, you know.
Yeah, they have the
Uh,
tactical advantage.
uh,
They could potentially have a tactical advantage in that. See, I would there's a factor that I would argue that if it depends on whether the Thanagarian mace and their that can penetrate Luke
Luke's
Cage's
skin,
skin.
which I don't think it could,
I don't
because
know
one,
if
it's a
it
blunt
could.
instrument, so
Yeah.
like it's not
Well, see,
even.
there's the mace with the ones with like the
That's
spikes
fair.
on it and stuff,
That,
where
that that's
like
fair. But
yeah,
like its
and
its
the
purpose is really to knock
not
you
knock you out. Yeah,
rather
like
than slice you. But I don't know that it could penetrate his skin. I think it could send
yeah.
him through a building or two.
Yeah,
But I
but
think he would probably be fine. That's interesting. That
and the other factor that I would think about with Iron Fist and Luke Cage is how much damage can the Iron Fist do to the Thanagarians, to
yeah.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl,
Well,
because they're sturdy, like you said. He can kind of go toe to toe with Superman, but Iron Fist can punch real hard and can kick
no,
real
you're
hard.
100% right. And then the flip, like I do believe that if Iron Fist were to hit Superman, like even though they never have the chance to, if he
Yeah,
were to get a good shot at him, he would, just like Hawkman and Hawkgirl, be able to like
do some
give him,
stagger him at least, you
make
know.
him feel it. You know
So
what I mean?
I think really what it comes down to is whether Hawkman and Hawkgirl's durability could outweigh the attack capabilities of
All right.
Iron Fist and Luke Cage,
Uh,
because the thing about Iron Fist and Luke Cage is one of them's defense, one of them's offense, whereas the Hawks are just kind of both
offense.
powerhouses of offense.
This is true.
Yeah,
This is very true. All
like they
right. So
don't like
here's what
their
I was gonna say.
defense is a little
Now
lacking.
flip it. Now you have to defend the Hawks, and I'm gonna defend Iron Fist and Luke Cage for 1 point.
Okay, so
Um,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, because okay, the first thing I would think of would I kind of made the point for you earlier was like the Thanagarian metal. How dense
Uru.
is it?
It's not Uru.
Uh,
Um. Oh, the nth.
the nth. Yeah, yeah. I was how like how much can nth metal affect Iron Fist and Luke Cage's ability, even Iron Fist's ability to utilize his energy absorption abilities and energy
Yeah,
manipulation abilities, because the nth metal has energy manipulating properties to it.
that's really interesting. I did not consider the nth metal. What I was gonna say when you were talking made me think of the where Hawkman and Hawkgirl have that general soldier relationship, where like they can tactize like a battlefield extremely well.
Hmm.
Luke Cage and Iron Fist have that like I have fought by your side for so
The
long relationship.
brotherhood.
You know what I mean? Where
They
they
kind of
have
know
this
what
like
the other one's gonna be is
ex-
thinking.
exactly um that I think that they would have the upper hand in like
Interesting.
in maybe getting like what's the right way I want to say this, like making the battlefield in their advantage. You know what I mean? Like using each other and using like silent communication
Hmm.
to like get the advantage on the battlefield.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I was saying, like being able to just know what the other person is gonna do
yeah,
without any
exactly right.
form of actually having to even
Hmm.
look at each other. Like,
Whereas, like, I think
um,
Hawkman and Hawkgirl have more, even though it could be argued that they have more lifetimes together. But
not all of them. They can't all remember all of their lifetimes. You
yeah,
know, like,
they have a very
uh,
different relationship.
but to that point, I think overall, in the end, Luke Cage and Iron Fist can't win permanently, because the Hawks will just fucking come back because they're the Hawks, and they'll just reincarnate into a new life eventually.
That's
So
funny. That's funny. Yeah, even though we are the host for hire,
I'm gonna
in
have
my
to go with the
opinion, I
Hawks.
have to give it to the
Yeah,
Hawks as well.
yeah,
On
me
on
too.
just that, you made a really good point that maybe the nth metal would be enough to
A
maybe not break
determining
through
factor.
Luke Cage's skin and puncture it, but to do enough damage to him
To
uh,
turn the
to take
tide.
him down.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let us know what you guys think in
yeah,
the comments. We'd be really interested to hear what you guys feel. Let us know what you guys think about the Marvel versus DC in general. Who do you
yes.
think would take it? So I guess we think DC in the end, because
DC won.
the DC won the tiebreaker in the end, I
DC won the
guess.
tiebreaker.
And let us know if you want us to
Yeah.
yeah, let us know if you want us to do more of these death battles too. We got a couple more in the chamber. We'd really love to hear your feedback on
Yes.
those, to hear how you guys feel about each point. Give us some suggestions for more death battles, who you think would be good to go up against each other, solo or duos. We do appreciate you guys stopping by. We have been your hosts for hire, and we will catch you with the next episode.
Later.
Peace.